Gordon Hinckley there with some Tuesday morning motivation for you. So basically, you cannot get anything done by just thinking about it. So if you want to do something, go ahead and do it and just stop, ruminating over it. It's the conversation here on TOS Television Network, your digital first Pan-African news network. And as always, the conversation promises to be very engaging and insightful. My name is Adesu Wausui.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
All right, we move straight into stories and happenings from across the African continent, starting from South Sudan. South Sudan said it is a victim of an international campaign following a UN report that accused the country's governing elite of looting tens of millions of dollars from public coffers. The loot, UN warned, risked upsetting an already fragile peace process in the world's newest nation, which has struggled to emerge from 5 years of civil war following independence in 2011.
And in Mali, the country's post-coup prime minister said presidential and legislative elections set for next February could be pushed back to avoid validity being contested. Under pressure from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, following the August 2020 overthrow of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, Mali's new military leaders agreed to an 18-month transition that would end with presidential and legislative elections on February 27, 2022.
All right, let's go back to Democratic Republic of Congo. In Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo, there's a new trend of inhaling a drug derived from crushed vehicle exhaust filters. This trend triggered a campaign by Ratwood authorities intended to stamp out the concoction and a related rash of car part thefts. I saw your reaction when I can't
begin to even understand the reason why somebody would want to inhale crushed car parts. For goodness sake, it is. I don't understand. I just can't wrap my head around it.
People will do anything to get into that space.
The question is, what are you escaping? Really, what are you escaping?
I really don't know, because I don't.
How do people just do things with the full knowledge of the fact that this is going to cause severe harm to you, and you go ahead to do it? Nonetheless, it shows the nonchalance people have towards their bodies, in order to achieve just a few minutes of ecstasy.
But we've come to actually, over time see that people, when it comes to drug use and drug abuse, people don't really think or bother about the resultant effect or the long-term effect of it. It is what I can get in the now that people usually bother about, and I think that's where the problem is.
That has always been true. However, it's important that the government tries as much as possible to ensure that this menace is curbed, especially with this new trend, because I just can't understand why somebody should want to inhale crushed tires, for example.
I mean,
I mean, there were times when we knew of people who inhaled, adhesives,
water,
please,
things like that. But I mean, drug abuse. There's a campaign for drug abuse. The campaign against drug abuse has always been at the fore here in Nigeria, and I do hope that it continues to be that way. Drug abuse is terrible. Abusing drugs is terrible, and having to go the extra mile is just way terrible. All right. Is also terrible. Yes, COVID-19 is also terrible, according to Sagi, and we're going to be bringing you COVID-19 updates from across Africa right now. And after that, we'll be going over to the big story.
You're still watching The Conversation on your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. And like I always say, you can be part of the conversation by connecting with us on our various social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TOS TV Network. You could also watch the conversation via our website at www.tostvnetwork.com, as well as watch a recap of the conversation and other programs by TOS TV Networks via our YouTube page at TOS TV Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, it is the big story segment of the conversation, and this morning's focus is going to be on how Nigerians have fared 100 days after the Twitter ban. It's been 100 days already.
Over 100 days, actually.
Wow. I wouldn't have known. Well, Okay, so on June 21st, Twitter was banned, and this has affected Nigerian businesses across. I think statistics showed that Nigerians lost about $245 to $250,000.
Billion naira. That's it. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Anyways, we have a guest with us in the studio today who is going to be laying credence on the topic as well as other issues, and she is the CEO of Gloom Business Connections Limited. She is Anya Ifunanya. Good morning, Ifunanya.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to have you on the show.
I like the black on black.
It
really fits the conversation we are having, because as it is right now, Twitter seems to be dead in Nigeria. So to the government, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ifunanya, I want to ask, how do you think the ban has affected Nigerians? To this moment.
Well, you just called the statistics, calling it about a loss of 246 billion naira. So you can see how bad that has affected people. We know Twitter to be a platform where people go to market their businesses and do a lot of advertisements. As we know, it has this kind of reach to the audience and community on that platform. So it's actually not a good one to so many Nigerians at this moment. You see, in an economy where people strive by wanting to do their own thing, pushing their businesses and looking for social media platforms to advertise what they are offering to. It's a big blow. Yeah, it's a big blow to have something that useful to the growth of your business taken away just like that. Okay,
so one thing that's significant to this conversation right now is the fact that you are the CEO of a tech startup, and you're a lady for that matter, which makes it even more exciting. So the question I want to ask, for a tech startup in Nigeria, definitely we know that where there's disadvantages, we'll always have advantages. So what advantages do you think that the ban on Twitter has on the Nigerian tech industry, especially at this time?
What advantages?
Yes.
Advantages.
She's having to think so much.
Okay.
Because when it comes to Twitter is a platform, a social media platform where people go to interact and connect. So when you talk about advantages to the tech industry here, I'll talk about what other platforms are available there that does the same thing as Twitter. And I'll say we actually don't have any platform that has or functions as Twitter. For instance, the company which I run, we have a platform called Crow. Crow is a social media platform, but even though it has the same business model as Twitter, it doesn't function in the same way, or it doesn't have that same vibe of community that you have on Twitter on Crow. So like so many other social media platforms, they can all exist because they have their own independent attractions. And so that is where, so when it comes to disadvantage, I think we're all players in the market, and I don't really see the advantage here.
The reason why I'm asking this, this why I'm sorry to cut you short. The reason why I'm asking this is because I know that definitely the ban on Twitter here in Nigeria has left a huge vacuum to be filled, because Nigerians, some 36 to 46 million Nigerians right now, have this hunger to be heard. And Twitter has always been that go-to platform for them to vent and, just express their opinions. So I'm asking this question because I was the opinion, or at least I thought, that Nigerian tech startups here would expectedly try to, even if it is not completely replaced, but bring something which to some extent will grant them a little succor to ensure that, okay, this is an alternative, although it might not be a viable alternative, but it is an alternative to Twitter. So do you think we have people here in Nigeria who are looking to see that is a reality?
I would say, well, we are looking to see that's a reality.
I think that is
with
what
the
I wanted
platform.
to hear.
So we are putting out a platform where people can air their views, be free to communicate, interact, market, and carry out the different things you normally do on every other social media application on our platform Crow. And it's something we want to see or make sure that no matter how long it takes for people to adopt or try to, we have to put out something forward, especially one that is our own. So far, I don't think there's any social media platform out there in Nigeria like you have Crow. So I think it's something we are really, really, really proud of putting out there, so that Nigerians especially can air their views, be free to communicate and tell the government or whoever how they are feeling about whatever situation they are in.
Okay. All right. We're actually out of time at this point. I actually had something to say to you, but we're out of time, so we have to wrap up the show at this point. But I do hope we could continue the conversation some other time.
Oh, no problem.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation this morning. It's been an amazing one. I said it promised earlier. And don't forget, you can be a part of the conversation by following us across our social media platform. That's TOSTV Network across all social media platforms. TOSTV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course subscribe to TOSTV Network on YouTube. You can also, watch the conversation and other programs on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesua Osuyi.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Stay safe, and we will see you tomorrow.